You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network. Visit pencilandpaperproductions.podbean.com to find more great podcasts.
Welcome back, siblings.
What's up?
To our last mini of this
Whatever
summer.
we do in the summer. Yeah,
We're still on the lake.
we're still here.
We haven't been here
You're
the
still
entire
right there.
month. Yeah, you're still there too.
Yeah, I am. We haven't moved.
Yeah, we haven't been here the entire month. It would have been nice if we were.
Right.
Maybe. Who knows?
Well, yeah, that's fair.
We don't know this town well enough to know what it would be like in a month.
What, to be fair about it. But it has a pretty lake.
It does.
But to be fair, I have a pretty lake I can go look at anytime I want to.
That's right.
But we don't, oddly. It's like you ignore the stuff in your own town. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lake somewhere nearby. Quite a ways out. It's
The
not
creek?
nearby. The creek.
By the creek.
Oh my God, that irritates me so bad. But no, we're still hanging out. We're still chit chatting. We're not quite sure what we want to talk about.
I never sure. I don't know. Although I did harass my bestie to finally watch something, and I had to cross state lines to get it to happen.
Yeah.
I could finally, because I think I was mean to you about it, so I have to apologize.
Well,
I was a little mean.
well, no,
I was a little mean.
You were passionate.
I was like, why will my best friend not watch a thing I want him to watch? So bad. It hurts me in the soul. No, but I finally got to watch Bo Burnham.
Yeah. Inside
was his special. If you guys haven't seen it, probably if you follow my Twitter, I've tweeted about how I was just in love with it. And I was very happy he watched it. And I actually don't know your opinion really on it yet.
Okay. Well,
I don't know if you liked it or not.
I'm familiar with the name.
Okay.
I've seen Bo Burnham's name about. He was just not one of those people I was familiar with.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure I've heard that he was a YouTuber at one time. That he was
the early days of YouTube.
Yeah. He's one of the people that I've always heard who was like, oh, he was that YouTuber who actually made it and is doing actual content elsewhere.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. So I was familiar with his name, but I never sought him out. I don't know why. I guess there was nothing about what I heard other than
Well, to
he
be
did
fair, because I wasn't a fan of musical comedy myself, but for some reason his broke through in my little brain and actually made me laugh. So if you were that way, that might have been it too. Because I didn't know him from YouTube. I knew him after he kind of made it after YouTube and then found out he came from YouTube and went back and watched some of it. I actually saw him live even.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. His Make Happy tour, which I guess was his last one, obviously. You know?
Yeah.
Since now we have Inside. And it was probably going to be a tour until, gestures broadly to 2020. So, yeah.
I really liked it. It was not
good.
something I knew I needed, but it was very entertaining and very interesting that it was all him.
All him, right? I think that's what blew my mind the most after it did the whole thing. And wow, just crazy. Such I think a once in a lifetime kind of talent to come up with all that, do all that. I know comedy's subjective, but his hit home, especially with this last special. It's like, yep.
And I think what I like most about it is even when he seemed like he was on a path to maybe do a full song or something like that, there would always be an interjection to something else, or he would cut away to something else. Like, not everything was like that,
Sure.
but there would be these little manic moments where 1 minute you're focused here and it's a full song, and the next minute we go into another song, and then it just moves on to something else, and you're like, oh, okay, I guess we're done with that. Because he was done with it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. This was simply just to maybe be segue into the next thing or whatever it was. Yeah, no, I'm glad you liked it then. I'm glad you liked it. I've been addicted to listening to some of the songs that's finally been released on YouTube because I know Netflix still owns a lot of it, and I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Does Bo get to say no? I get to put this on my YouTube whenever I want, or
I don't know.
I don't know.
I know they lock stuff down. They're just like, nope, you can't. So
because I've seen it floating around now. A couple of the songs will come out. A couple of them that I enjoy, but my favorite ones are still kind of. You got to go watch the special.
Yeah.
I guess that's the point.
Yeah, definitely go watch the special. Even if you're not into musical comedy, I think just if you like music in general, his songs are very catchy.
Yeah.
The music is catchy.
And lots of different sounds.
Yeah. So you'll start listening to it and you're like, okay. And you just kind of get into it. And then he starts singing and it's just some of the wildest stuff.
This is ridiculousness. It's a lot of tomfoolery for sure. But that's what I think that's what's great about it. And you can tell he went through some shit.
Yeah.
You know, because this one was a little bit more of a tone. Because, like, he's young. I know, whatever. He sang a song about turning 30. He's still young.
Yeah.
I get it, though. But, you know, grew up in a different time than we did, but very dead on. Because, like, I mean, there's some stuff in there that's, like, you could tell he needed to work through and put it in a song to try to make fun of it. And, like...
I mean, there was one scene in there that I genuinely want to know if that was scripted or that was genuine. Where he was trying to say something, because I've been there, trying to record something, and you just keep fumbling a word, and so many edits in some of the other podcasts and stuff that I do. If you had some of the outtakes, because I get so angry because I see the words, I'm reading it, my mouth just fumbles over it, or I can't get it out the way I wrote it, and I'm like, why can't I say this? It's right there.
Yeah.
Why can't I say this? So I'll have to sit there and either try to focus in on it or rethink how I'm saying it, because for whatever reason, what I wrote on the page is just not coming out of my mouth.
Right.
Refuses. It's like, nope. I'm not doing that today.
Yeah. And feeling like that you just... How it was like for, I guess, single people during lockdown, though, too. Because I was blessed to not have to. You know, married, had a husband. I could only imagine what it was like for people who, like, lived on their own, probably had jobs to actually go to, and, like, everything stopped.
Yeah.
You know, so you could definitely feel some of that in a lot of those songs, too, where it was like, hey, I'm ready to come out. Oh, wait, the world's closing down, but I'm ready to go back out there now. And then... do this whole thing by yourself. And I feel like those manic moments and everything in there are, I would imagine, genuine reflections of how he was feeling during this lockdown, and being able to get over the anxiety and doing a lot better. And then boom,
there it is.
Like, what the hell, man? I was good. I was ready. And then this is going to mess you up too. I mean, who knows what we'll be dealing with in a couple of years, because this was a very traumatic event that I think is a once in a lifetime where the entire world can be empathetic.
Yeah.
You know?
But what's fascinating about it is everyone's take on it, or their experience through it. Because in all honesty, if I had not taken, like, I know I've mentioned it before, I took a month off, like went into furlough, like self-imposed furlough, went to my job and say, hey, I want to do this because I'm a little worried.
Crazy right now. Yeah,
I'm getting a little worried. It was beginning of April of 2020.
Yeah, I was going to say it was early on. Well...
And I was
lockdown.
Yeah, and I was trying to think rationally, like I thought everyone else should be doing.
Right.
And I was like, you know what, this is getting bad, and it's going to hit this building, and we're all going to get sick. I don't want to get sick, so we need to do something now.
Right.
And me and maybe a handful of other people actually did it, while the rest of the facility, which is at least a couple of hundred people, were just like, no, we're going to keep working. And I couldn't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
So the fact that the entire state of Tennessee, the way it seemed, just continued on like nothing mattered.
Yeah.
Nothing was ever going to shut down. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that experience was, because I heard so many other states was like, no,
we locked down hard. It was done. We were like the end of March. That was it. Roll up the sidewalks. We'll be messing with it. We'll revisit in a month or so and see where we're at. But yeah.
I mean,
food takeout was still allowed, but that was about it.
Yeah.
And like essentials, obviously groceries and stuff like that. But
no, I mean, it was a nice vacation.
Sure.
But it's just so bizarre because I don't know what a full lockdown looks like.
Yeah.
I really don't. So when I hear about it, I'm just like, wow, that must have been something.
It was a bizarre feeling. I remember the first day waking up after we went into lockdown, like just kind of sitting there like, how does this even work? What do I do right now? And I mean, maybe because I was a little ahead, so my situation was a little unique because I got hurt a month prior. So I was like already stuck at home for like a month and a half before lockdown. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll just keep sitting around the house then, you know, like it's like nothing really changed in the last month and a half because I couldn't physically leave because I couldn't walk, and now I can walk, and now I'm not doing anything. Okay. First, I thought it was freaking-tastic, but I worked in customer service, and not having to wait on people at a restaurant was A-okay with me for a while. Nice long break, yeah.
Yeah.
I was bitter about that pre-lockdown, so none of you all be like, oh, you were scared. No, I was ready to be done with that crap years before all of this. And then, they didn't get nicer.
Yeah.
So,
Well, for whatever reason, we were considered, what was the term?
essential.
Essential.
Yeah.
Now, look, I do understand hot water can be essential,
Yes.
but we had a warehouse full of water heaters, and they weren't going anywhere. So I just didn't understand why we needed to build more.
Right.
Because we had a whole warehouse.
Right.
They weren't going anywhere.
Like, can we sell those first and then
can
to see where we're at?
Yeah, but we're essential. People need. I get it.
No, sure.
I get it.
That is true.
Hospitals need it.
Yes.
But if their water heater breaks, they're not going to call you first. They're going to call the repairman. And then
Probably.
they will look into it. Now, how this also works is that when they call the repairman, then they will get in touch with the regional manager for the area in which they're in. And then they will go to a third-party seller to acquire said water heater.
So then they're already out hot water for like a month? Regardless of pandemic or not?
So
Okay.
it's not like they buy
efficient.
direct from us. There are other people in which they have to buy, and they have supply.
Okay.
So, see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, no, I
It
gotcha.
wasn't like this direct line. So I was just a little confused.
No, I think
by
a
the
lot
whole
of
thing.
companies were, and no disrespect to what you do, everyone is essential it is, but some wanted to pretend they were way more essential than they actually were, so they wouldn't have to shut down and not make their own money. Because there was some businesses where I went, okay, we could be okay without that for a while, and then some, obviously, groceries and essentials, and yes,
Yeah.
we need food, we need all that, and it's unfortunate we didn't take better care of them through all the stuff we needed. But like restaurants, haircuts, things like that, like, no, sucks. Because if you are that person, that's how you make your living, then yes, there was no good answer.
Sure.
There was no good answer. We all got pounded with the thing that nobody knew what to do and made a snap decision in the moment that they thought could help. I assume, I'm hoping each state took care to do what you needed to do. I'm speaking in generalities, of course, but yeah. So mine never completely shut down, but again, I couldn't go work anyway. I could have gone in to serve takeout
Now,
to answer the phone for your order. Basically, that was it.
and I'm not of the impression that nothing shut down. I know certain restaurants did. There were a lot of local businesses that couldn't stay open.
Yeah.
So there was some form of lockdown, but very loose.
More self-imposed, you feel, maybe, with like smaller businesses?
They didn't seem like they cared all that much, because I mean, my job made a big deal out of it. They gave us a piece of paper and said, if you get pulled over, because you're out, you got this piece of paper says you're essential. I was like, yeah, but no one's going to care.
Is
around
anyone
here,
going to stop you, though, and
Yeah.
there, too?
There's not a cop that's going to look at me and say, oh, shit, they're breaking lockdown.
I actually wondered how some places did that were saying they were, because, like, the hot spots all summer or all year long in the States anyway. I can only speak for here because I don't, every country had to do their own thing. But, we had like a laundry list of states if you had visited that you weren't allowed to do crap for 2 weeks because it was such a hot spot or whatever. So I was like, how are they knowing when I'm driving, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was just kind of curious, like, is it like a sobriety stop? Like, is there just people like lined up? And because it's like, is it government? Should it be scientists stopping us? Like, who's doing this? Like, well, it was a new thing. None of us knew what to do, but maybe they just thought if we had this idea, they'd be able to do something at state line borders that we would be scared enough to stay home. I don't know, and not do it. All you had to tell me was they were Florida, and I didn't want to go. Sorry, Florida. I'm sure people there are great.
Sure they are.
I'm sure there has to be.
We know a few.
Yes, we know quite a few.
I think Eric is.
It's the butt of the jokes everywhere. It's how it is. The states. It's the Florida.
Yeah. So those of you who are decent people in Florida.
You know who you are. You don't have to call us out that you're one of them.
Yeah.
That's the one time I could say you don't have to tell us on Twitter that not everybody in Florida. Like, we know. We know.
We
know it's not everyone. And if you feel the need to tell us on Twitter, then maybe you are one of the ones. I don't know.
I don't know about you, since we're on the topic of Florida.
See how it
But
happens?
did you ever grow up thinking Florida was actually a decent place?
Oh, of course, because like everyone wanted to like make money and retire and ship themselves in caddies to Florida. So you had this idea that was just like money and all sexy women on the beaches
Miami
and
Vice.
buff dudes. Yeah, Miami Vice. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know when the tides shifted. I really can't put my finger on when it became Florida man. Florida man. Florida man.
It's just, it's really bizarre because I just remember thinking, Florida's a place to be.
Right?
Damn.
It's where you want to party, where you want a spring break, where you want to retire.
Everything about it seemed awesome. And then I grew up.
Right? Now I'm like, ew.
Why would you want to be
To
there?
be fair, I gave Florida 2 chances, and the state screwed it up each time. I know it's not the people's fault, but yeah, still. I tried. Went to Destin, garbage weather in May, just cold. Went to Orlando, garbage weather, stupid 30 degrees till the day I fly away at 77. I'm like, you know what, Florida, we're done.
Okay.
I gave you 2 chances to be my getaway in the winter home, and you screwed me each time. So we're done here.
Yeah.
So...
I'm never coming back.
no, done. I have no desire. It's out of my system.
Florida. What are we
telling
going to
you.
do with you? You're America's dong. Really
That old
are.
Bugs Bunny gift that keeps making the rounds, where they just saw it off and kick it into the ocean, It's like, there you go. But then, the States is the Florida of the world, so we've just all we gotta have the smaller guy we gotta keep picking on somehow to make ourselves feel better. That's how we do. So Bo was good, right?
Yeah, Bo was good. Bo was fantastic.
So Bo is good.
I would definitely
Yeah.
recommend that.
I do.
People to go out and watch that if you haven't.
It's a very different medium for the comedy special, I'll say loosely, space. Like, it's a very different thing. And shit, we even got Patton Oswalt hawking it on his Twitter. Go, go watch it. Take it.
A lot of people have been saying a lot of positive things about it. So I guess that's good for Bo.
Right.
if
And
you
hopefully
didn't
that'll
have-
make him want to do tours when we're back in full swing. I feel like we're getting there. I'm seeing audiences getting to return, like at TV talk shows and things like that. So I think maybe later this year he might be able to venture out, depending on how he feels, I guess. I don't know what kind of setback something like this would have on someone who had extreme anxiety. So just keep yourself well. That's all I want. Keep yourself well and mentally fit and all this kind of stuff, because I enjoy I was so excited.
Yeah.
I was so excited to see he was putting out content again, because I understood why he took a break, but I was still bummed because I enjoyed it. So when I heard he was doing another, I was like, oh my God, this is great. I didn't think we'd ever get him again,
Yeah, and even to the point of loosening restrictions, I would like to say that, we're seeing positive results, but we're in Ohio, so I can't really speak to...
Oh, yeah, I don't know how it is around here.
I mean, we haven't seen anyone with a mask.
Not even a little bit.
So-
Not even like around the chin to feign.
So it's
I'm just going to lie to myself. Everyone's vaccinated in Ohio.
I want to think that everyone's just, doing the right thing, but I can't trust human beings to do the right things anymore, so...
Well, decisions have been made.
This
Your
is true.
decision has been made.
Yeah.
Whatever you feel is best for you and your loved ones,
All I know...
proceed.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do about it anymore. You can't argue with it. Just like everyone do your thing and try to not kill each other, I guess.
I want to... I don't want to... I'm hoping I don't ruffle any feathers of people listening.
I think we will regardless. That's why I know I tend to stay away from some topics, not because I don't have an opinion, just because I don't feel like people arguing.
Well, I'm trying to think of a...
Conversation is great. Arguments are not.
No, I'm just trying to think of a diplomatic way to speak to this. The vaccine is, in my opinion, a good thing. We've had numerous vaccines in the past. They've all been for the benefit of mankind in trying to eradicate or contain viruses.
Sure.
I understand this is new, but in every single instance in the past, they were new. And we are so far advanced in medical technology today.
I would have been very upset if we were still dicking around with trying to get a vaccine at this point. Really? I mean, if you think about sciences and it comes so far, we should have one sooner. I get people's fears with not having it tested on a large group for a certain period of time. Like, that's kind of new. We would usually do it like at 6 months, a year, get that kind of thing. But yeah, we should be smart enough to be knocking these things out a little bit quicker, right?
Yeah. I was hesitant. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit there and say that I wasn't sitting there looking at it going, because it was bizarre. It was pretty quick, but I have to trust in the science that these people weren't doing this maliciously or trying to screw over the public, because
mankind, basically.
I mean, what benefit would there be to that? for these companies to develop something that just doesn't work.
Right.
You know, and they're just like, here, just put it out. Yeah, but if the virus is still going, then you're going to look like an asshole right now. So think about that for a moment. If you think that the company did it too fast, but why would they? Because they're the ones going to take the fall for it.
Sure. Yeah.
And their stock is going to drop, and their whole company is going to go right down the tubes. You would hope, if they did something like that.
I guess nothing's for certain anymore.
Right. So, see, we're playing both sides.
I gotta be fair about it. But that's what I think I like is I love when people want to have conversations. I want to understand and learn where you're coming from. I don't want you to yell at me and fight and just wait for your turn to talk to oppose whatever it is that I'm saying, which I think is why I've been so turned off from having conversations because I don't feel like I can anymore.
Yeah.
Like if we have completely opposing views, 100% cool. Just tell me why and what brought you to that point. Listen to maybe why I did. We may not still agree at the end, but maybe we could be more civil with each other and at least understand why another person made a decision that you wouldn't have even thought to make because it just didn't suit your lifestyle, your background, your family, your so many different factors.
Like here's a great example of that is I was with my parents one day and I think we had tried to go out to a restaurant. And this is the first time I've even been in a situation to attempt this since COVID, but I had my vaccine. I felt comfortable with it.
We got to trust they said it would be okay once we were done. If I'm in, I'm in, you know?
So they were just like, hey, do you want to go out to eat? And I was like, sure, we'll give it a go. I had my mask just
you don't know what their rules are.
Because I don't know what their rules are. We went to a restaurant. They were talking about how they were shorthanded. It was going to be like an hour wait.
Sure.
And we're just like, no, we're not going to do that. And my dad got upset because he was just like, well, I don't understand why they don't get people. He's like, I tell you what's going on is that, you know, they giving them this damn stimulus money and they don't want to go back to work and they're just, you know, living off of that. And just, they need to cut that shit off because, you know, they're never going to go back to work. And I'm sitting there listening to it and I'm just taking a breath because I'm like, come on, man. Come on. So, and I was trying to think of a way to approach it because I didn't want to argue with my dad about it.
Sure.
But I wanted to try and maybe get him to see it from another perspective, regardless of whether it would work or not.
Sure.
It was just maybe think about it like this.
Right.
So I tried to form some explanation. It was like, well, I don't necessarily feel like it's the stimulus money because a lot of people do want to go back to work.
And I don't think $1,300 in this country is going to make you that far, really.
Right. And I said, the problem is that you're asking them to go back to work to a job in which does not pay
and they've not been treated well.
Yeah. So people aren't coming back to these jobs because, sure, maybe they're making a little bit more than they were there. Maybe. But at the same time, maybe they just don't want to go back to that.
Yeah. Customer facing jobs have had the hardest time and I'm sorry, corpse.
Yeah.
I know you want to call them all lazy and not wanting to come back. Maybe stop rewarding shitty customer behavior.
Maybe boost
the fact that we can de-escalate situations better than most other jobs out there in customer service because we'll get fired if we don't. Like, I think people were just like, $7 an hour. I already hated it. I had to work 3 jobs to pay my bills. And now all these entitled people who don't want to just listen to the rule and expect me to enforce these government imposed things. Screw you. I'm done. I'm out. And I don't blame you. And if you also think that the unemployment is too much, the unemployment that the government, I would assume, decided was the bare minimum you could get by on is more than I'm making on a paycheck.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's an issue. It's not that people... Hey, sure, people are inherently lazy. Like, seriously, if you told me that I was just going to sit at home and make enough for all of my bills and all that, most people probably would. I don't care who you are, Mr. Pull Your Bootstraps Up. You probably would be like, I can make $5,000 just sitting around in my house. Done. Or $200 a week going here. I just think it's about damn time we had the same kind of workers' rights that most first world countries have. And I think maybe lockdown finally made suits realize they're not as important in the machine of their company as they were.
Now, one thing I would...
and this could all just me be venting, but I mean, from the lens that I view it and I was in customer service, I get how shitty people are. And I've seen how shitty people have upped it to the 11th degree since all of this happened. So...
No, I did some form of customer service for a year and a half. And I will never do it again. Because... people have this tendency to blame you
instantly
for their problem and all you're there to do is help. I had a guy that I worked with in that same process, and I guess I just have to get into that mentality, because what he's saying makes all the sense in the world. And I'm like, I wish I could do what you're telling me, but I guess I'm not wired that way. Because he's like, you need to remember, they're calling you for help. When they want to yell at you and berate you for all you're doing, all you have to do is look and say, dude, I'm just here to help. He's like, so if you want me to help, I can help you. If you don't, then the conversation's over.
It's like, it was always when they're instantly upset when they didn't get the thing that they were clearly trying to get when they first, and like, I'm going to call corporate, I'm going to leave a Yelp review, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. It's like, do you have nothing better to do? Than make my life miserable because you ordered too much food, or you didn't end up liking the thing that you ordered. Or I tell you what, people, pro tip, if you're nice to these people, you'll probably get way more shit for free than you ever will being a freaking entitled pissant.
Yeah.
Because we'll give you the bare minimum to get your ass out the door, and when you're threatening to never come back, we're actually hoping you're telling us the truth because we don't need that business. But if you were like, I don't really like this, and I think I messed up, or even if we genuinely messed up and you were kind about it, I've given away so many more free desserts and stuff to people who were just nice about it.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
we could go on with our lives. You didn't ruin your entire dinner evening over one little, like, you're ruining your own experience. Let's put that out there first. We didn't do it to you. You probably came in with that attitude already. When you sat down and decided to be mad, your mashed potatoes were cold and let it ruin your entire night. That was on you. And now you're the one having to live with that the rest of the night. Your server's just going to call you an asshole in the back and forget you existed once you leave. You've ruined your own life. I'm just going to say that now.
Hey, you know what?
Maybe some of the bitterness is starting to get flowed back up.
Maybe.
From all the customer service work.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Not everybody's crap. I shouldn't say that. I've had a lot of good guests.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll flip it and talk about it from a customer perspective.
Please, yeah.
And how sugar can make the world go smoother. Because we went to this restaurant, my wife and I, and we ordered some appetizers, and while we're waiting on our food, and they were like some cheese fries or something like that. And as we're eating them, we find a hair. And we look at it and we're like, okay. Yeah. And we just kind of pull it off, set it aside. It was a small little hair. It was like, okay, it happens. Just let it go. Keep going. Find another one. This one's twice as long. It's like,
no.
All right.
Because my first instinct was like, are you sure it wasn't yours? But now you're finding more than one.
And then at that point, we're like, okay. So what we did is we called over the waitress, quietly, mind you, said, hey, found 2 hairs in this. Just want to let you know. And she's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. She took the food, brought us a whole nother plate. Then let her manager know they comped the entire meal minus the drinks.
Wow.
Because of that.
See?
Okay? They didn't have to. We weren't expecting that. We weren't like, how
you didn't
dare
stand up and demand it.
We were just like, hey, just want to let you know about this. If you just, and she's like, oh my God. We didn't make a scene.
You know what I bet happened was the server was so ecstatic you were so nice about it, because I've done this too where I've gone to the manager, I'm like, oh my God, they've been so cool about it. Can we do something for them? And he probably just as much was like, oh my God, you had a nice one? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's equal to what you're trying to demand from the customer. I talk to your manager.
we comped your $6 side. Yeah. You just got your entire meal for free.
Yeah. The entire meal. All we had to do was pay for the drinks.
I'm not saying go put hairs in your food and be nice about it. Quit trying to screw over these people. But I'm just saying, like, if something's legitimately wrong and you're kind about it, we as servers and everything, we want you to have a good time. Yeah. We want you to enjoy it, I
mean, there's so many opportunities that people can be assholes, but you can equally be just as nice about the situation. Try to understand what's going on. Those people didn't mean to put hair in our food, I would imagine. We weren't mean or cruel when we got there. It just, shit happens, And there was another instance
now,
where...
if you went there like a few more times in a row and constantly felt hair, then maybe at that point it's time to just stop going there.
Now, granted, I will say this. That was the one and only time I've been there, but my wife has been back with her friend.
Hair-free?
Hair-free.
There we go. See?
And they talked highly about it, so it's still a good place.
Yeah, nice.
But there was even another instance where it was like a family gathering. It was like me, my parents, and my kids, and we all went to a restaurant. The waitress I don't know what was wrong with her. She seemed like she was unfocused. Like her head
maybe
was
very
somewhere
weeded.
else.
Yeah.
And I swear we were sitting waiting for our food for an hour. And was like, what is going on? Like, because we hadn't heard we'd seen so many other people.
Not given any updates. So that's the server's fault. She's got to keep you in the loop, or whoever it is, they got to keep you in the loop.
But we witnessed all these other people getting their food who'd been here after us. And we're like, I know we didn't order something that's just going to take this long.
Right.
It's just like,
what's
what
the
is
old saying? Did you go kill the cow?
I mean, what's going on? And we were trying to be polite about it. And we still were polite about it. By the end of it, we just casually asked for the manager. Because it was at some point, it was just like,
if no one's even going to update you, yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And the waitress at one point before we got the manager just seemed like, oh, yeah, well, like trying to give us life stories. So it was like,
all the excuses why it wasn't her fault.
Yeah. And
that's human,
we
though.
We didn't want to be unsympathetic. It was also like, we just wanted our food.
Right.
So could you just let us know about that?
Like, I get things happen, but where's the status of our food?
Yeah. You just let us know about that and we'll listen to everything you got to say.
Right.
But you haven't. Yeah. You haven't told us anything. So, but you can do these things even in the harshest situation.
Even when it is 100% the restaurant's fault.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a jerk about it.
Right. You can talk to somebody and just be like, hey, look.
Just imagine what you do for a living right now. Maybe it's not customer service. And just imagine if you had people day in and day out who could constantly keep telling you were doing it wrong. Do it this way for me. I'm the better person. Give me the manager. Just imagine that in your face all day long. Mm-hmm. If you're the person who feels like you need to go out and do that, would you appreciate that? Would you be like, oh, I know the owner. I can stay late or blah. It's like, go home.
Yeah.
Would you like me to come into your job 10 minutes before close and say I'm staying for 2 hours? Mm-hmm. Probably not, but that's what you signed up for. That's what I hear all the time. But, we have closing times for a reason, too.
Yeah. This is why we're supposed to be closed at this hour.
But again, I blame corporations because we've allowed this kind of behavior to go unchecked because, they want that dollar and the suits don't care because they're on their yachts already. They're not staying late.
This is true. But hey, I hope you've all enjoyed this rant.
I know. Like, started with Bo. Go watch it.
It was a natural, progressing conversation.
It was.
That's all we ever have.
Hopefully you found some value in it or some laughs, or if it angered you, well, you can talk about that with someone else.
Yeah, it's fine. But
But if you want to have a conversation about it, I'm all about that. But I'm never in the mood to argue about people's beliefs or anything. I'll listen, but I won't argue.
We're just saying... don't be bitter about everything.
Right.
I know we can be bitter. I know I can be.
And I've been plenty of the entitled bee in my day as well.
Just try your best to be...
I'm trying to improve it.
You try your best to be better about your situation. Right. It's going to happen. We're all going to lose our temper. Mm-hmm. But think about it before you react, if you can.
And maybe try to retrain your brain a little bit.
Yeah.
Not everything was just at your demise. That car didn't break down on the side of the road just to be in your way and make you late because you left late.
Mm-hmm. It just
like, sorry, their bad day ruined yours, but that's your problem.
That is your problem.
That is exactly.
But anyway, guys, we hope you've enjoyed these little minis throughout the month of July. We will be back next week.
Ooh.
In August.
The return.
2nd. And until then.
Game on.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.